everybody. Just getting set up here. Got a lot of stuff going on tonight. There we go. Looking, looking at a lot of action here tonight. So first thing that I'd like to do is let's go over and recap some of the action from last night, which was primarily the Korean Fantasy Baseball. It was the only thing that we had going actually last night. I only had one lineup in there. So let's jump over there to recap here. And there we go. So we've got enough to get into the money last night. You know, we definitely had enough to get into the money last night. Finished 103rd overall. Out of, I think it was a 500 and some odd person pool. So again, won back more than it cost to get in. It was just a dollar tournament. You know, reviewing the players. You know, my primary pick here. You know, if you recall, yesterday we went through. This was my primary pick. Was the pick for the pitcher was Tae-Hoon Kim. And had a good showing for it. Had a good performance. He had 7,200. There we go. 7,200. Wound up getting 7 innings. Yeah, 7 innings, only gave up 2 hits. Struck out 6. You know, did not get a decision. Did not get a win or a loss. You know, they actually wound up losing the game, but still, in this case, you know, with only giving up the 2 hits and getting the 6 strikeouts, still wind up in the you know, almost 25 points, getting scored from my primary pitcher, which is good. I did wind up spending up. I wound up spending up with my second pitcher on Warwick. You know, he wound up losing. He wound up giving up 2 runs. Got 4 strikeouts. You know, gave up 8 hits. It was the hits that hurt more than anything last night with Warwick. Yeah, so only 4 strikeouts. That was fine, but only gave up 2 runs, 13 points. Again, like I said last night, I was a little worried about spending up that much. This kind of output, 13.2 from a starting pitcher. That's not really gonna cut it on a regular basis with if you're spending up for $9,700 for your second pitcher, and but in this case, it wasn't so bad. I had a couple of positions, one position really, that wound up not scoring us at all. That was our catcher, and I struggled finding a good catcher last night. You know, wound up going here just because so many of the pitchers last night. I'm not sure if this is regular in the Korean baseball, but so many of the pitchers bat so low in the order. In general, in any baseball, whether it's Korean or Major League Baseball or whatever, you want to try and get your players that are up near the top of the order, just because it's a little easier for them to get an extra at bat or 2 compared to everybody else. So I went with Ji Young Lee from the Heroes, just because he was batting 5th in the rotation in the order last night. Didn't wind up getting anything out of him though, but had a couple of picks here, primarily, you know, loaded up a little bit like we had talked about, you know, and the stack and the extended stack really is what I wound up going with. Yeah, I went with 1, 2, 3, 4, five uh, five players from the Wiz here, from the KT Wiz, and and they all did fairly well for us, especially Kang here. 5,900 paid up for him, but got 26 points out of him. That was a good one. A lot of people jumped on board with that one too. 41%. You know, you know, Sim here for the Wiz as well, coming in at 15 points for only 2,500. Again, a lot of people on board with that one. A lot of people on board with Rojas. Of course, 6,200, only 10 points. So Sim was a great little pick, 34%. That means that more than 60% of the other lineups did not have the leadoff batter for the KT Wiz, and for only $2,500, he wound up getting 15 points. So that's nice. Stolen bases are always nice. Couple of hits, got an RBI, scored a run. Can't ask for a whole lot more than that. Down here, one of the money savers for the Eagles. This is one of the ones that we filled in the outfield. Only 2,900, and it's not like the Eagles definitely did not have a good game. Only scored one run, but this guy 2,900, 2 hits, a stolen base, gets 11 points, and only 11.9% of the folks had him. So that's a crucial 11 points to wind up getting into the money in any fashion. And then these guys, Park and Song, not big scorers, very low percentage owned, 9.4, 6.6, but they got something. So that helped us out. If it wasn't for, if Lee would have pitched in a little bit, we were at, came in at 119.9 points overall. It was a pretty big pile up between 119, where I call it 120, 120 and 125, up to 125 in this one. I had almost 30 players in it, so 5 more points. If Lee would have done a little bit, maybe you wind up jumping a few more, get a little more money back on your investment. But again, anytime that I'm in any competition where I wind up getting more money than it cost me to enter it, that's a win. And that was my only lineup for the night for Korean baseball. So I was happy with that. If at any point anybody has any questions about anything, just don't hesitate to throw them into the room, and I will address it. Let's jump over here. So now, my thought is, why we should probably we can just go ahead and round out the. Well, let's do this real quick. Let's just jump over real quick, since I did go over some MMA last night. Let's jump over here to the MMA real quick. This is happening tonight, so maybe periodically, as we go through our NFL picks and fantasy, Korean baseball and NASCAR throughout the night. Maybe we'll jump over here and check out and see how we're doing, and track how things are happening in the MMA fights that we got going on. This is all locked. A couple of fights have already taken place. A couple of fights have already taken place. Let's see, who already fought? Who already fought? Here, got a little bit of a lag happening. let's see. All right. Well, let's see. I can see here that okay, there we go. It looks like there's been 2 fights that happened so far. The Casey Barella fight, which is one of the women's strawweight fights, and the Mays Nascimo fight. I'm not even sure if that was offered on the. Oh yeah, that was okay. So yeah. So right now there's been looks like 2 fights that have gone off. There's a couple folks out there that have gone heavy on some of these early fights, and the current leader has picked went double up on the Mays and Nascimento fight. Nascimento lost that fight and only got 27 significant strikes. The other 2, they've got the 11 and the 10. They've got wins in both of them. One was a first round stoppage. That was a good. Barella got a win by submission in the first round. Sorry, Casey got the win by submission. Okay. Yeah, Casey got the win by submission in the first round. And then Nascimento knocked out Mays. Or no, that was submission actually, in the second round. So a couple good bonus points there for them guys. So we'll see what winds up happening with this as the night progresses. But let's see. For now, let's jump back over and take a look at tomorrow's slate for Korean Fantasy Baseball. Again, this will start early in the night. Well, late at night or early in the morning for us East Coasters. What we're looking at here is, again, a situation where some of the games are starting at 1 a.m. Eastern, the others start at 4 a.m. So a little more than a little under 6 hours away. And let's take a look at the basic process that we have been following. Look for our primary pitcher. Who's our main pick for pitching today? Let's see. So you've got spinning up here for Drew Rusinski going against the Wyverns. Let's take a look at what Drew's been doing thus far. Started 2 games. He's got a win. 12 strikeouts overall, so he's averaging 6 a game. Yeah, in fact, he got 6 in both games. That's not bad at all. 5 earned runs, so those were 5 earned runs all in the last game, though. So he could not have been happy with that. Yeah, and he's playing right now. He's facing the Wyverns. And even though the Wyverns had a little run right there, they are dead last in the league in scoring right now at this point in the so he's definitely an option if we're looking to take the top pitcher on the, at least price wise, on the slate today. Now let's take a look at who else have we got here. Yeah, we got some money saving options out here with Ben. Let's take a look at. I don't really like this with him going up against the Twins. Let's take a look. He's had 2 games pitched, a win. It's come off a pretty good game. with 7 strikeouts, no earned runs. He definitely had a great game there. So this is another pretty strong option. Playing for the Heroes. Let's pull up real quick. Here the rosters for this upcoming lineup and see who's playing who. Let's see. Yeah, so right now, let's see. The Heroes. Yeah, the Heroes have been on a rough streak now. Yeah, they started out hot. They started out 6-1. They've lost 4 in a row now, so they've dropped to 6-5. Yeah, so that's definitely a shot. And they're playing the Red Hot Twins, who started out 1-3, and they've won 6 in a row. And they're playing. So that's the reason. Yeah, that definitely gives me a little bit of hesitancy to pay up for the second most expensive guy on the slate at 8,900, just because his team's struggling and they're playing a hot team at the hot team, so not super comfortable with that. Next most expensive is Despine. Despine. Take a look at him. Or Dacimer. Or Decimer. I have never heard that guy's name pronounced, so I don't know how to pronounce it. O-D-R... Odrisamer. Odrisamer. Okay. Let's see how he's been doing. Now, he's playing... So he plays for the... Wiz, correct? Yeah. Yeah, he plays for the he plays for the Wiz, and he's facing off against the Lions. Right. So they're going up against the Lions. Now, let's see. The Wiz have won their last 2. They started out 1-7, and now they're 3-7. They're going up against the Lions, who are on a 2-game losing streak. So that is a possibility. This guy has... What's he got? He had 14 strikeouts over 2 games. That's not bad, especially for a team that's been struggling. He doesn't have a win yet. But he's only given up 4 earned runs total. He doesn't pitch a lot of innings. Looks like he pitched 5 innings one time, 6 innings the next. You know, this is definitely a potential top pick here as well for 8,500. Only 1 walk too. Yeah, he's only had 1 base on balls. That's fairly impressive. That's really impressive actually. 14 strikeouts and 1 walk. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards this guy right now as my primary pitching pick. My PPP. I like what's going on here. I like the fact that he's pitching at home. His team's on a modest little 2-game winning streak. He's facing a team that's on a little 2-game losing streak. He showed really great control. He's in there at 8,500, so that's a pretty comfortable area. So let's take him as our primary pick. Let's take him as our primary starting pitcher. Now, jumping over to the hitters. Again, what we do is we look for things that we might see as being lopsided, things that we think might be potential big games for one team or another, and try to stack on them. The thing about a stack is in baseball, and in any of the, really, but especially in baseball, if you go heavy on a stack and you go at least 3 players, up to 5, if you're right and you hit it, you're gonna have a strong chance of getting that, getting into the money. You're gonna have a good opportunity to get into the money because you're probably picking a few money savers and folks that aren't suggested on any of the sites, that aren't necessarily pointed out to say, hey, definitely go for this guy, especially if you go with a stack of more than 3. Usually when you're looking at stacks, on most of the sites that give out suggestions or insight, they limit it to a stack of 3. But don't be afraid to go to 4 or 5. I may have even done a 6-player stack once before, or a couple times before. But if you're really feeling it, if you really feel like, hey, this is the day to go for a stack, don't limit yourself just to the 2 or just to the 3. Feel free to throw in a 4th or a 5th, and if it pans out, you'll be great. So let's take a look here now. Looking at potential stacks. See, we might want to look at we loaded up on the Wiz yesterday. It came through for us, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm very, very hesitant to go back to back on a stack with the same team. Now, I mean, if you find a team and they're hot, there's nothing wrong with that. Ride them until they stop. But do I want to do something where I go with a Kang and a Rojas Jr. again? Go with 2 big picks early on, and then try to money save elsewhere. That's a possibility. Could also be looking at the let's see who's pitching over here. So this guy's got. Let's take a look at this guy. I'm curious about this. Why is this guy so okay? So Min-Woo Kim, he's played in 2 games. He started 1. The one that he started, he pitched 7 innings, only gave up 1 hit, 8 strikeouts. So why is let's take a look at a little more into Min-Woo Kim here. So Min-Woo Kim, let's see. Historically, okay, so he's been in the league for 6 years. This is his 6th year. He's only 24. Okay, yeah. So interesting. So prior to this year, Minwoo Kim, these first two games, Minwoo Kim has not been impressive at all. If you remove these first two games from this year, his ERA is almost 7, and he's barely at 15% for a strikeout rate. But an ERA of 7 means that he So the real question now is, would we look at target? This could go either way. This is an interesting point here. You could either look at Minwoo Kim as a very affordable second pitcher and bank that what he's displayed in the first 11 innings here of the 2020 season is that he's figured something out. That 18 from 18 years to 23 years he was struggling on the mound, and that now he's 24. He's figured something out, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue for at least one more start, right? Because that's all we're really worried about. Or do we think it's going to catch up to him? And if we think it's going to catch up to him, then we can jump over here and look at the Twins. No, look at the the Giants. We can look at the Giants here. Let's take a look at what they've been doing. The Giants have been red hot, right? Giants have been red hot. Started out 1-3. They've won 6 in a row. Going against the Eagles, who have lost one, coming out even 5-5. No, 4-7. Sorry. Coming out at 4-7. Okay. This is a very tempting one. This is very tempting. So this might be a situation where it's worth, if you're interested in playing in two different Korean baseball tournaments. I might wind up running two different lineups here. I might wind up one going fairly heavy on some hitters here and using Minwoo Kim as my secondary pitcher and staying away from the Giants, or a second one where we focus on the Giants to hit against Kim. Now if we focus on the Giants, it's not like that. It's not like there's so much. Let's take a look at their entire roster right here. Yes, it's not like they're super expensive. We could probably. So let's just run through this little setup here and take a look at this. If we decide to go with going against Kim and figuring that he's about to get blown up, then I think we would you have to look at Machado playing either second base or shortstop. Let's hold off on him and see if he fits in better in one position or the other. And then really there's not a whole lot of super expensive guys for them here. We can look at John, who's batting second right now, playing in the outfield. So let's throw him in there just as a thought. It's not bad. Their leadoff hitter is right here. Min. Mr. Elite figure. Yep, Min. Byung-Hoon Min. So let's say that we throw him in there. Then Machado. Machado is Machado's down to bat in 7th. If we wanted to go for a full-on stack here, you'd probably want to get Machado into that lineup regardless. You'd probably be looking at a Machado, and then probably their cleanup hitter, which is Lee right here. If you ran that way, then you're not really in terrible shape as far as money goes. Let's take a look at just a couple of the other pitchers. Now again, this is with us going along the idea of we're targeting Minwoo Kim. So we don't want to take him, even though he's really affordable. So in this case, we're looking at maybe going with the Twins here, the starting pitcher for the Twins. At 8,100, we can take a look at him. What do they got to say about him? Yeah, two games started, 2 wins, 6 innings each one, 15 strikeouts. He's definitely been doing well there. Now he's at home against the Heroes. This would probably be a strong consideration for a second pick. So if you throw him in there real quick, just to take a look at it, that's going to drop you down to 3,600. So then you'll need to do some money saving for your last 4 spots. We won't go into all of them. We won't go into that right now. But again, I'll finish this off later, and we will recap how this winds up panning out tomorrow. But yeah, so that's the one option where you could go that way. The other option is you decide not to target Kim, and instead look at Kim as your second pitcher, as a low-price second pitcher, but somebody who struggled throughout his career but has had a hot year to start. And then you look at, okay, who can I grab that's worth it here? And you would have to go with Arthur here in the outfield for the Dinos. Even though he hasn't had a great first few games here, he is let me get him up here real quick. This is his first season in the KBO. Right. Aaron Arthur here. Yeah, so this is a guy who has spent time in the major leagues. He did pretty decent in the major leagues as well. And he's hitting in the heart of the order. So this would be a case where here's a guy right here that on DraftKings, you draft him. He's so expensive. He hasn't performed yet big, but it's a shaky guy that's pitching against them, correct? Yeah, it's Song Yeon Bak. Let's take a look at him real quick. Yep, he's down here. So he hasn't even really had anything so far this year. What has he done overall? Yeah, okay, so he debuted last year. He was a relief pitcher. Um, all relief starting here. It doesn't have a super strong strikeout percentage. It's just a little over 17%. Um, and he walks a lot of people. Almost a 15% walk rate. So we could look at throwing a number of folks on the dinos and grabbing a couple other high priced bats, especially if you're going to go with that second Minwoo Kim. So if you threw it, I would say I'm willing to consider at least taking a risk on Alter here and see if he's a lower play. It's hard to pass up Fernandez for the Bears. They've been scoring and he's good. But again, like I said, the other way here is you're looking at what happened yesterday. The KT Wiz stack worked pretty well for us. Would we be willing to go that way again? If we did, you'd be grabbing Rojas. You'd be grabbing Kang. You're down to 3,400 at that point. So if you went that way, you're going to wind up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots where you're going to have to do some money saving. Now we know that there's a couple of. Jump over here real quick. We know there's a couple of money savers that worked out for us yesterday. So if we're looking there, let's see. Yeah, good. If you go this route, then the money saver that I'd use to get you back in there would probably be our. Where is he? Where the heck are you? Yeah, let me just get to the Wiz. Here you go. Woon Jun Sim. Yep. We went with him yesterday. He helped us out. You'd throw him in there. It's going to get you back up to 3,700. And you should be able to fill in the rest of your lineup there. So those are the two primary ways, primary paths I'm looking at in terms of Korean baseball going in there tomorrow. I might finish these up in the interim while talking about what else is going on, just because, we can hold off for a while. The first game starts at 1 a.m., so we have a little bit of time there. Let's see where we're at. All right, so next we can jump into the NASCAR event for tomorrow and see how that works out. Now, I have not done a whole lot of NASCAR betting before, but until all the other leagues start to get back up and running, it's worth taking a look at. So this is just a little $4 tournament. It's just a single entry $4 tournament. About 6,000 people entering. I think. See, 5,945, and the top 1,605 get something. So that's above 25%. So more than 25% are getting paid in this one. Sure, you've got to finish, above 556 to get anything more than double your money. But again, top 25% get something here. So if I want to play with NASCAR when I'm not really super familiar with the betting on it, why not take something that pays off a high percentage? So let's run through this too, because this is something that I just reviewed recently, so that you can get an idea of how NASCAR fantasy scoring takes place. So, place differential is plus or minus 1 point. So what that means is, if a guy starts the race in 5th place and he winds up in 1st, you get a plus 4 point differential. But if he starts the race in 5th place and in the first turn he gets into an accident or his car dies out on him and he finishes 30th, then you're getting a minus 25 point differential there. I haven't seen a lot of this firsthand, because, like I said, I'm just getting into the NASCAR fantasy betting myself. I would think that has a chance to wreck your lineup right there. If you the fastest laps, let's take a look at exactly what that means now. So I'm assuming that means that how many times did they run the fastest lap for any given lap. You get a half point bonus for that. And the number of times that you are in the lead, how many laps are you leading, you get a quarter of a point for that. Most of it seems to come from your finishing position. Looks like it's a pretty steady breakdown. 46. Yeah, a little bit of a jump between first and second. And then you just got a steady 1 point more or less, depending upon where you finish, all the way down to 40th. So, who are we looking at here? First of all, when I look at the salaries, there's a lot of, we're drafting 6 players, and the salary still stays at $50,000. So there's a lot of high-priced folks coming in here. In golf, or most of the other showdown events, whether it's NFL, NBA, or hockey, or whatever, you can usually get maybe 2 top priced guys, and then find a way to save money. The issue here is, I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if it's worth, hitting the bottom of the barrel down here, where there's people down here that, scoring very little, not finishing any top 10s. This is a very tricky one for me, and we'll see how this works out. This will be interesting to see as it continues. But I think they have a very hard time. Right now my top pick. If I'm going to pick one guy from the top, I'm going to go with Harvick. Let's throw him in there. Harvick is a guy that was really nailing it prior to the break on the COVID thing. Let me see what his numbers were. Yeah, in his last 6 starts here, this track, he's had, he's been in the pole position 3 times. He's got a win. He's a runner-up. He's led over 500 laps in just his last 6 starts. That's pretty good. You get that kind of bonuses from leading laps. So he seems to have really fallen into a good uh, history here at this particular track. He's starting sixth, so that seems okay to me. He's going to be up there near the front, and he's got 5 top 10 finishes already this year with limited racing. And and then also he is in his last 7 races at this course. He's finished in the top 10 every time in the last 7 races. So that's very difficult to overlook. So for me, he's probably going to be my number one guy. Other guys to look at, Kyle Busch has a he's raced here a lot. He's not bad to look at. Hamlin is always a threat. He's starting in the number 10 spot. That's pretty good. Who was the other guy that I was looking at? Was it Keselowski or was it? There's another guy I was looking at. I think it was Keselowski on the pole. Yeah, Keselowski was my other pick. Um, he's been at this track 11 times total. He's led 289 laps overall in his last 5 races here. So he's definitely been picking it up more recently. Um, he has in those last 5 he's had 4 top 10s. So can't complain about that. He's $1,100 cheaper, so it definitely gives you a chance to edge up a little bit in the other guys that you might be picking up. But like I think Harvick is my main pick, but Keselowski very decent as a second option if you want to go with him. And then already and this is where you look. You're already down to 7,700. So now you gotta try to figure out if you're gonna go with a Harvick, who would be some of your money savers to try and get you back in there. And one of them is definitely uh, Di Benedetto. He's coming in number 3 slot right now. I think that he was on a good run prior to. Let me take a look here. Yeah, so he has he last time he was here he started in 19th and he wound up finishing up in 8th place. So here's a guy that can save you some money. If you go with a Harvick like that, you definitely look at him. And then Dylan here is another guy coming in at only 7,400, and he has a good history here at this track as well. Let's see, he what is it, top 5. Yeah, so he has 6 career starts at this track, and he's got a 1 top 5, 2 top 10s in those 6 and also he's got 4 top 15 finishes at this track. So again, looking to save some money, you probably look at going with Dylan. You're still only at 7,800, so then you guys start trying to look there. And like I said, we're not going to go through everything because we don't want to give away the entire lineup. But yeah, you've got to try and look for somebody that could be a grabber. Let's take a quick look at some of the history here. I got Dylan. Yeah. As a bigger money saver, you could look all the way down to Quinn here. Yeah, as far as fantasy points go, you see, he hasn't really been. There was one time at Daytona 500, did not do well. He seems to race pretty much, starting and finishing around the same. Didn't get a lot of laps led, but he'll get you a few points here and there. He's only 4,600. As long as he doesn't make a mistake and crap out somewhere. Yeah, right there. Back on the 13th, he had a really great showing. For somebody down that low. So this would be a guy you could throw in there if you did. If we throw him in there real quick just to take a look at it, then it's going to bounce you back up to 9,500, and you're going to have some other options on who to pick to fill out your roster. So this will be interesting to see how it goes. We'll recap that tomorrow to see how the NASCAR event goes for us. But we'll leave that where it is for now, and then we will get back to it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to officially start. Oh, let's see. Anything happening in the MMA world right now? Let's see. There's some guys doing some good performances out there, picking the early fights. Right now the early leader is he's used up 4 of his position players so far, in the 9th, 10th, and 11th fights, doubled up on the 9th, and even his loser scored 68.5 points with Elkins, so he got 68.5 points or so. It's going to be hard to wind up being up at the top in this one, but again, we'll see what happens. You never know with MMA, you get some good wins in there, and don't know how it'll work out. Alright, so now we're going to jump over and take a look at the NFL Survivor Pool. So if everybody's probably familiar with Survivor Pools if you're still watching at this point. I'm sure you've been involved in some before. I'm sure you've played in some before. I've been playing in for Survivor Pools probably for 30 years now, every year. At least one, multiple years. There's only been a couple handfuls of years where I haven't wound up winning something in some Survivor Pool. So let's jump around. Start to show you the basic process that I go through. I talked about this briefly in my video yesterday, in my stream yesterday. A lot of people, I think, when they do their Survivor Pool, they play it week by week. It's week 1's coming up. They go there. They see who's playing. They see who's playing who, and they make their pick for the first week. And if they usually everybody should be able to get through the first few weeks, because you're just picking the winner. You're not worried about point spreads. You're not worried about anything else. So you keep up to date, see what's happening, and you make your pick. But a lot of people would go with the heavy favorites early on. First week, second week, third week. They get through them. They're starting to feel pretty good. But then as you start getting into the 6th week, the 7th week, the 9th week, the 11th week, and you start to realize that a lot of those teams that you picked early, you can never pick them again the rest of the year out. And now you're left with a couple of really ugly matchups where you've really got, you almost have to pick an upset and hope that it pays off. But what I like to do is, I like to, well before the season starts, I usually do this about a week ago when the NFL first releases their schedule, but I held on to it. I looked at it. I've looked at it very briefly, but I haven't done any of the real moving teams around until now. So what I like to do is I like to go through the entire 17-week NFL season and start exactly as if you were just saying, okay, let's just assume everybody's healthy, everybody's playing. Here we go. So you wind up making your first round, your first week selection. Remove them from the column of people that you can that are available for you to pick. Move on to the second week. A lot of times you'll wind up even then at that early phase spotting something where you get down to the 11th or 12th week and you see, oh man, you know what? I need to be able to take the Chiefs here in the 11th week, but I use them back on the 3rd week. So you jump back to the 3rd week and you see, is there somebody else that I could maybe fit in to the 3rd week that, may not be my top pick, but there's nobody else left in the 11th week for me, so I'm going to go with the Chiefs in the 11th week, and now I need to find somebody else in the 3rd week. And this is something that can be updated, and I will update on a monthly basis as we get closer to the kickoff season, and then we'll follow along with it once the season starts. This will just be one of the NFL's where I place a lot of my standard sportsbook bets. I always make sure to have a couple of season-long fantasy teams going, playing all the daily fantasy sports. I do a lot of that, but I don't abandon all of the other games that are happening either. So when the NFL's around, I'll still be doing some Major League Baseball, and when the NHL season kicks off, I'll be doing that and the basketball. So we'll have some good times there. But so yeah, let me jump over here. And this is the basic kind of spreadsheet that I usually put together. So I just put it together just to have, all the weeks lined up, all the teams available to me, and then try to decide who am I going to put where. So let's jump over to the NFL weekly schedule now. So, looking at the first week, we start running through it. You've got the kickoff game, Texans and Chiefs. Obviously that's a tough one. Historically, the defending champ does pretty well in that game, in the opening game. So, do you want to wind up blowing the Chiefs on the first week? Probably not. Packers and Vikings rivalry right there. I like the Packers more than the Vikings for the year, of course, but this is a home opener for the Vikings. What are you going to do there? You got the Dolphins and the Patriots. Are the Patriots going to be the same as they have been without Brady? Are they going to be as dominant? Not sure. Eagles at the Redskins. You got to like the Eagles over the Redskins there. Again, though, Redskins home opener. Raiders at the Panthers. A lot of questions there for the Panthers. How's their quarterback situation going to be? What's going to happen with them? They do have a pretty powerful, extremely versatile running back there with McCaffrey. So the Panthers home opener against the Raiders, that's a possibility. That's a possibility to look at there. The Colts at the Jaguars, neither one of those teams will be teams I'd be jumping on, even with Rivers now with the Colts. Don't love that. Seahawks and the Falcons, that's going to be a tough game again. You gotta like the Seahawks overall, but again, they're at the Falcons. They're at the Falcons for their season opener. You got the Bears going to the Lions. Not super comfortable with either one of those teams. You got the Browns at the Ravens. You know, the Browns are one of those teams that God bless them, and God bless you if you're a Browns fan. You know, they're definitely struggling as a franchise. Computer, turn on Dragon Lamp. There we go. Um, so then you got the Browns opening up, at the Ravens. So obviously that's going to be a strong. Ravens are going to be heavily favored there. You got to look at the Ravens. The Jets at the Bills. The Bills are having building an interesting little team up there. The Jets are just, I don't know. I'm not really sold on Donald yet as their QB, but again, that's not really a game that you're looking to pick right here. Bills might not be too bad. Chargers and the Bengals. You got the Chargers and down there in Los Angeles now. This is opening at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's another one of those teams. The Browns may actually be able to finish ahead of the Bengals this year. Um, you've got the Cardinals at the 49ers. You gotta like the 49ers with their home opener at home against the Cardinals. So that's a strong pick there. Buccaneers opening at the Saints. Now that's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. Everyone's going to want to tune into that one and see, Tom Brady's first regular season game at the Saints going against Drew Brees. Gronk back for the Buccaneers. Drew's got uh, uh, you know, Baby, the best receiver in the game with Michael Thomas there, and anytime you're in that dome, that's going to make it tough. I'm sure the fans are going to be trying to make it as difficult as they can on Mr. Brady. Then you got your Sunday night game, the Cowboys at the Rams, and then you got your doubleheader on Monday night. The Steelers going to the Giants, and the Titans going to the Broncos. So let's pick a game that we're uh, pretty confident of in the first week, and then see how things pan out. It is virtually a certainty that the picks that get made right now won't stay static throughout the uh, regular season, and probably won't stay static up until kickoff of the first day because of injuries or holdouts or who knows what, or viruses. Um, so let's go. I'm going to take for my first pick, play it safe. I'm going to take the 49ers at home against the Cardinals. So basically, I'll just go over here. I'll take the 49ers. I will move them over to week one. Okay, so now we know 49ers are done. Can't take them anymore. So now, jump over here. Let's take a look at week two. So here we go, week two. You got your Thursday night Bengals at the Browns. Now, honestly, this could be one where, depending upon how that first week goes, I could consider taking the Browns here. One of the key things of getting through a survivor pool is you're going to have to pick some teams that you don't necessarily think are the best team in the league. But you're going to look for matchups where you think, oh, this team may not be great, but I think they're playing a team that's even worse. Um, and situations like this where, the Bengals had their home opener in week one. Now they're going on the road. The Browns were on the road in week one. Now they're coming home. The Browns. This is going to be their second divisional game in a row because they will have played the Ravens there in the first week. So if we I'm kind of assuming the Browns are going to lose that first week game. They're coming home. They're 0-1. They this could be a huge game for the Browns right here. Where if things go the way that they very well may, the Browns could be 0-1. The Bengals probably will be 0-1, and but the Browns can't go 0-2, losing to two division rivals for their home opener. They can't. So I may wind up throwing the Browns into the second week right here, just because that's going to leave me a lot of teams later to play to pick up, and unless there's some changes between now and opening week or some injuries that first week, um, you know, if things go the way that I'm expecting, then I definitely would consider putting the Browns there. But let's still take a look at the rest of the schedule for week 2. You got the Jaguars going to the Titans. That whole division is just. I'm not thrilled with any of it. If I can avoid picking those 4 teams, I will in a survivor pool. I don't know if I'll be able to, but let's see what else happens. 49ers are on the road to the Jets. That's one here where this one would make me nervous. I've already got the 49ers picked up in the first week, so that's good. I'm betting you a lot of people are wind up taking the 49ers here in this week 2 game. And this is one of those games that, again, just looking at the way the teams are right now, everything on paper is going to say, "Hey, Tiki, thank you." This is just one of them. I got a few others I can show you. This is just the one that I got for the big pictures here. But yeah, I got a couple other layouts. Are you still in the chat right now? Yeah, here, check this out. Let me show you this real quick. Let me jump over real quick. I got this happening right here. I got this layout just to be talking to people and running through things. I've got another layout for when I'm recapping different contests. Right? Pretty cool. Then I got this here just to jump over to here. That's just a little recap. These are for events that happened yesterday or last night, so I can run over those. And then I have one other one that looks like this here for when I'm going with actually going through the process of picking which players do I want to put in and reviewing what are the current bets going to be. Right? So I really like it. I just built the last one today, but I'm gonna keep on working on it. Definitely gonna keep on working on it. Awesome. Thank you. I can't wait to see what you get working out there too. But jumping back over to some of my picks here. If you have any questions, Tiki, throw them my way. I can help you out with your survivor pool. Right? I'm working on it. But yeah, so jumping back over to here, looking at some of the players, like I said, I may go with the Browns. I may try to stay away from there. A lot of people, I think, are probably going to jump into this game. And this game would make me nervous as hell. If I was picking the 49ers, this is one of those games that by paper, everything on paper is going to tell you, oh yeah, that's a win for the 49ers. But you're flying across the country, most likely, depending upon if they decide on neutral sites or whatever. But you're looking at flying across the country, second week in a game where last week you would have had a divisional game. This week you've got a game that is, cross conference, and this is the kind of game that would definitely make me nervous. Definitely. You got the Bills and the Dolphins here. Again, got to stay away from this one early. Dolphins are probably going to be 0-1 coming in here. You don't necessarily want to face a a divisional matchup, even if they're 0-1 on their home opener, because the Dolphins are most likely going to wind up losing to the Patriots in that first week. So I'd stay away from there. Rams going to the Eagles. I like the Eagles in that matchup. I like the Eagles in that matchup. I could definitely consider that. Vikings at the Colts. Early on, again, a lot of this is the further into the schedule we get, the more things are going to be based on how were teams last year, and that's why the further you get into the season, the more changes you'll wind up making. But this is just an exercise to try to make sure you don't wind up getting yourself into a situation right off the bat where you don't have anybody left to pick late in the year. So looking at that, Vikings and the Colts, staying away from that. Falcons at the Cowboys. You know, I do not. I don't trust Matt Ryan. I know some people think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I've seen too many. I've just seen too many odd little quirks from him. I said 10 years ago, the Falcons will never win a Super Bowl with Matty Ice being their starting QB, and they came close, but sure enough, they blew it. Um, and I've been in a couple of Twitter wars over that, but I have seen Matt Ryan totally just run away from a tackle after he's thrown an interception. I mean, not even. I understand quarterbacks don't want to get hurt, but I've seen him run the opposite direction, away towards the sidelines. This guy I've seen him take a slide on at the end of a game when it's 4th and 13, and he scrambles out and he's trying to get to that first down, and he doesn't make the dive. He does a slide, and he comes up 3 yards short. I don't think I think that I just don't I don't know that he has the heart to win in this league at a championship as a championship. So that was a little off topic, but uh, I don't see any reason to get involved in that game early on. Giants at the Bears. Given the way things are going, you probably look at the Bears on that way just because the Giants are most likely going to have a pretty miserable season, even with their running back there. Who they just don't seem to feature him enough. Panthers at the Buccaneers is going to be interesting. Brady's a home opener for Tampa Bay. That's one where this is another one that I would consider. Based on just history and the way things goes, there is no way Tom Brady loses his opening home game for his new team. There's no way. Whether he pulls out some weird magical incantation shit or something, or I don't know. Whatever happens, he's not going to lose that game. Provided he's still healthy. You got the Broncos at the Steelers. Too much to figure out right there. If everything was equal, I would definitely be leaning toward the Steelers there, but we got to find out more about Ben, and is he going to be healthy? Lions at the Packers. You gotta like the Packers in that lineup. In that one, you gotta like the Packers. Redskins at the Cardinals. That's a stay away from it game. Chiefs at the Chargers. No reason to get involved in that game this early with some of the other options that we've got. Ravens and Texans could be a knockdown fight. I don't know if anyone's really figured out exactly what the Texans were doing with that, with some of their offseason moves. J.J. Watt's still a force even still on defense, but getting rid of Denard Hopkins there the way that they did, I mean, they had to have done something that they were going to lose him at some point anyway. I'm not sure what the details were, but they're not going to be as good of a team as they were last year. And not that they were great last year. So that's a tough fight. The Patriots at the Seahawks. We're going to know a lot more about the Patriots after that first week to see how do they handle the Dolphins in that opening week at home. Here they got to go on the road to the Seahawks. That's going to be a very tough game for them. and then you got the Saints at the New Vegas team, the Raiders there, um, which is going to be if they're this will be one that will for me um, depend a good bit on. Or do they wind up playing in all of the home stadiums, or are they going to play at any neutral sites, or what's going to happen? Because if you wind up with the Raiders, opening up at home in their new stadium, that'll be a tough one But yeah, but in a survivor pool, I don't know that I would go for it. But I would definitely consider placing a bet on them. So you know what I'm going to do right now for this exercise? I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to put the Browns into this slot in the second week on a Thursday night. Um, Now there's every possibility that I want to back away from this pick prior to the start of the season. But for right now, I really like the idea of the Browns opening at home against the Bengals. The Bengals are not going to be great. Um, this is the only time the Bengals are going to play the Browns in Cleveland this year. There's a couple other games that I'll be ready to fall back to. But I think that in the second week, I'm very comfortable with making that pick. So now let's jump over to week 3. So jumping over to week 3, we got a Thursday night game with the Dolphins and the Jaguars. I'm not expecting much from the Dolphins. I rarely do. But they're not top of my pick right now. Redskins at the Browns. So there's another one that again, we'll see what happens in those first 2 weeks. We are the Browns 0-2 at this point. If they lost the Bengals last week in week 2, and the Redskins are coming in there, that's one to at least consider. Raiders going to the Patriots. Again, we got to find out a little bit more about the Patriots, but right now you'd be leaning towards the Patriots. The Bears at the Falcons. Despite what I think about Matt Ryan, they do have a potent offense. And Matt Ryan plays great, by the way, in games that don't mean anything. Or that don't mean as much. Games where there's not a lot of pressure. And he seems to be, and I've always felt he seems to perform better earlier in the season than he does later. So this would be one where I would look at Atlanta here as a home win against the Bears. The Bengals going to the Eagles. I'm definitely not feeling the Bengals this year. Eagles, if their quarterback can stay healthy for more than 5 or 6 hours, then they're an okay team. Playing at Philadelphia, I like the Eagles in that one. That's a strong matchup. Titans at the Vikings, I'll stay away from that one. 49ers at the Giants. 49ers have a little tough little slate here, man. I mean, so they're playing back-to-back games against the 2 New York teams, both in New York. The scheduling department screwed them over a little bit on that one. I'm curious if the 49ers will spend the week on the East Coast or what they're going to do there. Texans are coming to the Steelers. That'll be a fun game with the all 3 of the Watt brothers hopefully on the field. JJ, TJ, and Derek all going against each other, and that'll be fun to watch. Rams going to the Bills. Stay away from that game. Panthers the Chargers. Stay away from that game. Jets at the Colts. We'll know a little more as we would progress here. Right now I'd probably be leaning towards the Colts, but I wouldn't go heavy. Buccaneers at the Broncos. We'll be finding out where the old Tom Brady is at this point, and if he's still doing it. The thing is, Tom can't throw the long ball like he used to, but even if he can't, he's got Gronkowski back. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Chris Godwin. He's got more weapons at his disposal than he's had for six years. Since the Gronkowski and Edelman and Welker, right? Was it Welker? I think back then. Since he's had those or LaFell, I can't remember who it was. Um, but I mean, this is probably he's probably got the best receiving core in the league right now, Adam. So as long as he can still move the ball, throw the ball in a generally forward direction, he's going to be accurate enough to get it to these guys. But don't love the pick right now as part of a Survivor thing. Cowboys at the Seahawks. The Cowboys have certainly been underperformers overall based on the players that they got. They got Ezekiel there and Prescott. I'm not 100% sold on Prescott. I know that he's had a couple of decent years, but I'm not 100% sold on him as their next great quarterback. So I would lean towards the Seahawks on this one. Lions at the Cardinals, probably want to stay away from that game. Packers at the Saints, that's a tough game there. Definitely try to stay away. And Chiefs at the Ravens, another tough game. So if we scroll back here, I'm looking at the Eagles. I like the Eagles in this spot going up against the Bengals. Eagles are at home. Let's do that. So let's grab the Eagles from right here. Let's get that moved over into the number 3 slot. Alrighty. Let me take a look at something real quick here. Okay. Alright, good deal. Alright, so then let's jump back over to week 4. There we go. Alright, so we got a Thursday night Broncos at the Jets. Don't like any part of that. The Steelers are going to the Titans. If everybody's healthy there for the Steelers, I like the Steelers on the road on that one. Vikings are going to the Texans. That one makes me uncomfortable all the way around. Saints are going to the Lions. You gotta like the Saints even though they're on the road. Browns are going to the Cowboys. So there's a good pick there. You definitely gotta look at the Cowboys. I don't think the Browns are going to be a great team this year. I think they've got a young core, and I know if you're a Browns fan, you've probably heard this and thought this. I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Steelers fan. But one thing, if you're dealing with both fantasy sports, survivor pools, or sportsbook betting, you have to remove your fandom. You can't bet for your team just because you like them. It's great to root for them, and I have on multiple occasions placed bets against the Steelers and still root for them to win. I'll lose the bet in exchange for my team winning. But you have to try to look at it from a very unbiased viewpoint when you're making your decisions. So even I do think that the Browns have got an opportunity here to build a team with some of the players they've got now and all that, but I don't have any reason to put faith in them right now. So I like the Cowboys early on. Ravens at the Redskins, that game makes me uncomfortable. Cardinals at the Panthers, another one uncomfortable. Chargers at the Buccaneers. Again, we'll know a lot at this point about Tom. Will be 3 games in. This will be the 4th game. We'll know how is he how is he performing, and so based on the, I might wind up looking towards Tampa Bay. Seahawks at the Dolphins. No. Colts at the Bears. Stay away from that one. Jaguars at the Bengals. Stay away from that one. Giants at the Rams. You know, that's another one where another thing to look at when you're looking at some of the survivor pools and also some general sportsbook betting is cross country trips make a difference. Um, you know, cross country trips make a difference. So do the games when they play them in London there. And I don't know. I haven't gone through the entire lineup yet, but I don't know if they're having any games in London this year based on the whole pandemic thing. They're probably not. But those things matter. The ones in London don't matter. They actually don't matter as much when it comes to betting because both teams have to make that trip. But across the country, you got a team like the Rams. That's their home stadium. They've been there since if they're on a homestand, they've been there for a few weeks. Even if they're not, they got home later the night of the same game, early the next morning. They've been there all week. Whereas, say the Giants, for example, are going to be doing their daily routine, and then they got to hop on a plane, fly across the country, and play a game. So it does make a difference. The Patriots at the Chiefs. That's going to be a big marquee matchup. Everyone's going to want to watch that one, especially depending on how the Patriots are doing at that point. Um, you know, if Brady was still there, this would definitely be a toss up. But I think you're probably looking at a pretty decent Chiefs favorite right now on that one. The Bills are going to the Raiders. Eagles are going to the 49ers. We've already chosen both of those teams, so we can't pick either one of them. And the Falcons are going to the Packers on Monday night. I do like that. I do like the idea of the Packers. On Monday night, Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure historically, uh, is pretty good on Monday night in prime time in general. Um, this is also a pretty big year for Rodgers and the Packers. I think they know that the window's closing a little bit for him, and so we'll see. I kind of like the Packers, um, but for now, let's go with the Cowboys. I'm not a huge fan of the Cowboys, but them playing at home against the Browns, uh, you know, if I want to take them somewhere, let's take them right now and see how that works out. So take the Cowboys, throw them in there. All right, let's jump over to week 5. All right, week 5. Okay, week 5. Thursday night, we got the Buccaneers going to the Bears. Stay away. Um, I guess with the caveat of again, how's Brady doing at this point? Rams are going to the Redskins. Not good. Eagle at the Steelers. That's a battle for Pennsylvania there. Probably best to stay away from that one. Jaguars at Texans. Don't love either one of them. Panthers at Falcons. Don't love either one of those either. Bills at the Titans. That's an ugly game. Cardinals at the Jets. Jets aren't going to win a lot of games, but this is one that they could win. Again, you've got the Cardinals traveling across the country to the Jets. So there's an opportunity there to pick the Jets to win. Anytime you get a chance to do that, it's going to make you a little more set down the line. Broncos at the Patriots, Raiders at the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs in that game. Anytime they're playing in Arrowhead, the Chiefs are going to be strong, especially with that offense that they got right now. The Bengals are going to the Ravens. Obviously, I'm targeting the Bengals a good bit early on. But running through the rest of it here, Dolphins at the 49ers. We've already taken the 49ers. Colts at the Browns. I would not be taking the Browns in this situation anyway, and I don't love the Colts because it's a road trip for them. Giants at the Cowboys. We already got the Cowboys. Vikings at the Seahawks. That could be a tough game overall. And then the Chargers at the Saints. I like the Saints in that matchup. So I'm leaning towards either the Ravens or the Saints on this pick. You know what? I think I'm going to go with the Saints. I think I'm going to go with the Saints. I think I'm going to hold on to the Ravens. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold on to the I don't think, remembering off the top of my head so far, I don't think the Bengals have played the Ravens up to this point in the year. So they're going to play them again later on, and that would be a good time to maybe grab the Ravens. So let's look at grabbing the Saints here on Monday night at home against the Chargers. Okay. Grab them, put them into the 5th week. All right, now we go to the 6th week, about 1/3 of the way through the season. And so far, we'll review it. We'll review it after the 6th week. So, jumping over to the 6th week, we got the Chiefs going to the Browns. Nope, I'm sorry. Chiefs going to the Bills. I like the Chiefs in that matchup even on the road. Again, this is one of those situations where it is a Thursday night game, so you're going to have a quick turnaround for both teams. It is a home game for the Bills. It's a primetime game for the Bills. The Bills aren't going to get a ton of primetime games ever, at least for the foreseeable future. But this is one of them. So it would make me a little nervous. This would make me a little nervous. But Chiefs, sure. Falcons at the Vikings, don't really love it. Bears at the Panthers, don't like it. Redskins at the Giants, don't like that either. Bengals at the Colts. Bengals on a road trip here. We know last week they were playing the Ravens, because I almost took the Ravens, and now they're traveling to the Colts. That's not a super easy road for the Bengals to hoe right now. And how many times am I going to pick the Colts? I mean, a lot of that's going to depend on Rivers and how he's doing. Philip Rivers is another quarterback I'm not a big fan of. Just because I saw an interview with him once where he said that he hates losing more than he enjoys winning. And that is so opposite of my mindset in most everything. You've got a problem. If you're focusing, the reason that you compete is because you hate to lose more than you enjoy winning, then you're playing for the wrong reason. I don't know what that reason is, but you're playing for the wrong reason. Not that I love to lose, not that I enjoy losing, not that I'm happy losing, but between the two of them, I definitely enjoy winning more than I hate losing. Anyway, Lions, the Jaguars, you stay away from that. What do you got here? Texans at the Titans, stay away from that. Ravens at the Eagles, that's going to be a big game. Browns at the Steelers. That's another one to look at there. Yeah, I mean, the Browns have a hard time beating the Steelers anytime, although they're definitely, who knows where the Browns are going to be, who knows how the Steelers are going to be. This would be one where I would definitely look into taking Pittsburgh. But we'll hold off on that right now. Dolphins at the Broncos. Probably stay away from it. There's nothing leaping out that's gonna make you pick them right now. Jets at the Chargers. So the Jets got to go across the country to play the Chargers. Uh, the Buccaneers are going to Tampa Bay. That could be a fun game. The Rams are going to the 49ers. We already got the 49ers, so we can't do that. And the Cardinals are at the Cowboys. We already got the Cowboys, so we can't do that. So really, it looks like this one comes down to the Steelers or the Colts. Which one do we take? The Bengals at the Colts or the Browns at the Steelers? I'm going to take the Colts because we haven't had the Bengals meet up with the Steelers yet. So that gives us a chance to pick a couple of more chances for the Steelers to pick the Steelers later. So right now, I think we got to go with the Colts in the sixth week. So really, a quick recap right here of where we at in 1/3 of the way through the season. We've got 6 picks, and only one of them is a pick that I would say is anywhere out there on the line. I think pretty much right now, anyway, every other, all of these 5 right now, as of right now, are guaranteed to be the favorites to win that game. The Browns are very possibly going to be favored to beat the Bengals in the week 2. But obviously right now, second week, that's the one that's going to be kind of does it stay there the whole way through? And if we get the 49ers, do we have enough guts to stick to the Browns in the second week of the season? I don't know. But right now, that's working out. This is working out. Let's jump over to week 7. All right, week 7. All right, now over here, we've got the Giants going to the Eagles. I like the Eagles in that one. That's a Thursday night matchup. The Cowboys going to the Redskins. No, but did we pick the Eagles already? We did, didn't we? Yeah, we already picked the Eagles, so we can't do anything there. We're not going to do anything there. The Bills at the Jets, don't like that. That's an ugly matchup. The Lions at the Falcons. We'll see how the Lions are. I would lean toward the Falcons right now for sure. The Panthers at the Saints, definitely like the Saints at home on that one. Browns at the Bengals. Now again, this is one where it's going to be that's a battle for Ohio, right? That's the Cleveland Cincinnati matchup. So if I don't take the Bengals here, then I'm not taking them anywhere. In the survivor pool. I don't think based on where things are at right now. Again, that can always change as the season progresses and injuries happen, but that's the best chance to take the Bengals right there. Chargers are going to the Dolphins. Packers are going to the Texans. Steelers and the Ravens, always a bloody game there. Seahawks are going to the Cardinals. 49ers and the Patriots. Chiefs are going to the Broncos. Buccaneers are going to the Raiders. And the Bears are going to the Rams. So here's the first week that's really kind of more of a bit of a tougher pick. Let's review again real quick. We already took the Saints, right? Yeah, we already took the Saints. So the Saints are out this year, or this week. The Cowboys are out. But we do like the Saints here. We took them back in week 5. So let's take a quick look again. Jump back to week 5 and see, was there anybody else in week 5 that we were considering? Chiefs at home. Chiefs at home against the against the Raiders. That would be one that we would consider right now. Right, Chiefs, Raiders at the Chiefs, and then of course there's the Ravens game against the Bengals, which we were looking at. But let's switch it up now. Then let's make our first switch up. Let's switch it over. The Chiefs should still be pretty heavily favored to win in Week 5. So let's take the Saints. Let's move them down to be our pick in Week 7. Let's take the Chiefs. Throw them over here as our pick for Week 5. So now, again, we've still got 7 picks. We've moved the Saints over into the 7th position where they're going to be favored to win this game at home against the Panthers, and the Chiefs at home against the Raiders are going to be favored to win at home. So you gotta like that. So that's right there. That's the first example as to why to maybe try to run through it this way. Get it early so you don't wind up with those, because otherwise, Week 7 there was going to be a pretty ugly week. It's going to be a very ugly week to figure out what could we do. So now, let's jump up, go over to Week 8, see what presents itself here. Coming up halfway through the season. So we got the Falcons going to the Panthers. Don't like much of that. Patriots going to the Bills. Don't really like that. Vikings at the Packers. Early on, at least, I'd be leaning towards the Packers here. Colts at the Lions. Don't really like that. Jets at the Chiefs. Would love the Chiefs, but they're out of our wheelhouse right now unless we jump back. The Raiders are going to the Browns. Don't love that. Titans at the Bengals. Don't love that. Rams at the Dolphins. Again, you got a Rams team that has to go cross country and play in Miami, but I don't love it. The Jaguars at the Chargers. Jaguars got to go cross country. Play at the Chargers. Don't love it. San Francisco at the 49ers at the Seahawks. That's going to be a big game. I lean towards the Seahawks, but not enough that I would necessarily take them in my pick. The Buccaneers of the Giants is right now is the game that I'm looking at the hardest. Provided Tom still has some of his magic left and he's healthy and all that, they're going to be favorites to win that. And I usually, again, I stay away from road teams a good bit, but I think that what we're looking at, we're definitely looking at a Tampa Bay pick here. Let's take the Bucks. Get them in to Week 8, moving into the halfway point of the season. Okay. Next, jumping over to Week 9. Okay. 1 second. Okay. All right. Week 9. We got the Packers at the 49ers. Tough game there. Broncos at the Falcons. I don't think the Broncos have the offense to keep up with the Falcons, so I'm definitely looking at that as a strong option right now. I'd definitely be leaning heavily towards the Falcons at this point. Giants at the Redskins, ugly game. Very ugly game. Texans at the Jaguars. Seahawks at the Bills. Again, it's a big cross-country trip, but you got to like the Seahawks in that one. Bears at the Titans. That's going to be a low-scoring event to be sure. Lions at the Vikings. Kind of like the Vikings in that one, at least as it stands right now. Panthers at the Chiefs. Panthers at the Chiefs. We already got the Chiefs taken, so that's nothing there. Ravens at the Colts. Can't look at that. Raiders at the Chargers. Don't love that. Steelers at the Cowboys. Oh, that's a classic matchup there. Dolphins at the Cardinals. I don't love either one of these teams, but if I was going to take the Cardinals, it might very well be in this game. Saints and the Buccaneers. That's going to be a big game. And the Patriots and the Jets. Yeah, and I think you got to go back here and look at the Falcons. Falcons playing at home with the Broncos. The Broncos have had trouble scoring points for a while now. So let's take the Falcons. And move them over here to the 9th week. All right. Moving along. Jumping over to the 10th week. Thursday night, we got the Colts at the Titans. Don't love that. Bengals at the Steelers. Yeah, that's a good chance there to pick the Steelers. But did we take the Steelers already? No, we haven't taken the Steelers yet. No. So we'll go through the rest of them, but that's gonna be a tough one to get by. Right off the bat, in the very next one, Jaguars at the Packers. I do like that one too. The Redskins at the Lions. The Buccaneers at the Panthers. Texans at the Browns. Eagles at the Giants. Broncos at the Raiders. Bills at the Cardinals. Nothing good here at all. Jets at the Dolphins. Nothing good there. 49ers and Saints. Nothing good there. Seahawks and Rams. Nothing good. Ravens at the Patriots. Nope. So we're looking up here. Packers or Steelers. Either one of them. So I think I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. I like that, them playing at home with Jacksonville, having to go up there. It shouldn't be. It's only November 15th, so it probably won't be cold or anything like that. But who knows? Up in Green Bay. Let's jump over to week 11. So week 11, we have the Cardinals going to the Seahawks. So got to look at the Seahawks there. The Bengals are going to the Redskins. Now, it's another opportunity where you might wind up having a chance to pick the Redskins there. The Redskins are not going to be a good team. They're not going to win many games. But this is a home game with the Bengals coming to them. There's an opportunity here to pick the Redskins. Do you need to do that, though, if you've got the Seahawks there? The Falcons are going to the Saints. That should be 170 points score in that game. Patriots at the Texans. Not too interested in that. Titans at the Ravens. Okay. Steelers are going to the Jaguars. Don't like that matchup. Steelers always struggle with the Jaguars, it seems. Lions are going to the Panthers. Eagles are going to the Browns. Packers are going to the Colts. Chargers going to the Broncos. Cowboys going to the Vikings. Could consider the Vikings at that point. Chiefs are going to the Raiders. And the Rams are going to the Bucks. We've already taken the Bucks, though. So I really think you're looking at either a Seahawk pick or a Redskin pick here. Um, I don't, I don't think that there's a need right now to reach for the Redskins, but that'll be something we'll keep in mind. We'll go with the Seahawks on week 11, just to see what that leaves us with. But we could always fall back here and do this as a Redskins pick. And now we jump up to week 12. Week 12, Thanksgiving week. Every football fan's favorite holiday, right? So on Thanksgiving this year, we've got the Texans at the Lions. We've got the Redskins at the Cowboys, and we've got the Ravens at the Steelers on Thanksgiving night. Well, that's going to be a very popular game to watch around this area. Nothing there that we would be interested in picking based on what we've done so far, though. Sunday, you've got the Cardinals going to the Patriots, so you definitely got to look at the Patriots on that one. You got the Panthers going to the Vikings, another one there where you can look at the Vikings. Titans going to the Colts. That could be a very, very important game for the division there. So staying away from that right now. Giants are going to the Bengals. Again, if I was going to take the Bengals, maybe it would be here. I didn't take them earlier. I don't think I'm going to take them here either. It's just too big of a. Again, and this could be something that would change based on what do we see happening over the course. If Barkley gets hurt for the Giants, if Saquon Barkley there gets hurt for the Giants prior to this game and the Bengals are healthy, then I could definitely look at tossing in a pick to the Bengals and getting a leg up on everybody else at that point. But until and unless that happens, stay away from it. The Chargers at the Bills, nothing really to love there. Browns at the Jaguars, nothing to love there. Dolphins at the Jets, definitely nothing to love there. Raiders at the Falcons. We already took the Falcons, so we can't take them again. We're not going to take the Raiders. But that could be a shootout. That could be a trap game for some people. 49ers at the Rams, don't love anything there. Saints at the Broncos, again, very similar to the other situation with the Falcons. I don't think the Broncos could score with the Saints, even in Denver. But we've already taken the Saints, so that's irrelevant. Chiefs at the Buccaneers. We've already got both of them taken, so we can't do anything there. Packers at the Bears. We already took the Packers. So, yeah, I think that you're looking very hard right here at the taking the Patriots in week 12. We grab the Patriots. Move them on over to week 12. So now we're 2/3 of the way through the NFL roster, and based on everything as it stands today, not looking at injuries and where do teams ebb and flow throughout the season. We've got the Browns as our risky early pick, but if we're able to get past week 2, we've got a whole sequence of just favorites. Where, as of right now, I would say at least 11 out of these 12 games, if not all 12 of them, we have the favorite for that week. For their matchup for that week. All right. So now let's jump over to week 13. Week 13. We got the Cowboys going to the Ravens. Not loving that. We got the Raiders going to the Jets. Not loving that either. Bengals are going to Miami. I do not love that, but again, this would be a situation where if you're going to take Miami, and if you grab them here, you're probably not going to have a better chance at picking a win for any given team than that week right there. Lions are going to the Bears. Don't like that. Jaguars are the Vikings. I like the Vikings in that one. Redskins at the Steelers. Now that's another chance to pick Pittsburgh there. Redskins going to them. It's a it's a cross conference game. So that's a possibility. Colts at the Texans, no. Saints and Falcons, no. Can't do anything there. Browns and Titans. I would consider the Titans at this stage of the game. Again, a lot's gonna depend on what's happened by this time in the over the course of the season, but there's definitely a chance that the Browns could have called it quits by then. And if so, the Titans are probably going to be in the running for something within their division. Usually that division does come down to the end. You know, 8-8 or 9-7 is usually good enough there. Recently, anyway. Giants at the Seahawks. You know, you'd be jumping all over the Seahawks on this one, but we already used them up, right? Yeah, used them up just a couple weeks ago. Um, Rams go to the Cardinals. Patriots going to the Chargers. Eagles are going to the Packers. Broncos and Chiefs. Bills and 49ers. So really, as of right now, we'd be looking at. There's a couple here that we we do like the Vikings. We do like the Steelers on both of these. So I don't think that we need to jump back and make any changes here. I think that I'm probably looking at the Vikings here. Playing at home. There we go. So we got the Vikings in there. We've only got 4 weeks left. We've only got 4 weeks left here. And there's not a lot of picks. We've only had one change so far based on our initial run through. Haven't run into any huge issues. Let's see what we got here. We got the Patriots going to the Rams. Don't like that. Texans and the Bears. Don't like that. Titans at the Jaguars. Don't like that. Another super low scoring game. Vikings and Bucks. No. Cardinals at the Giants. No. Chiefs at the Dolphins. No. Cowboys at the Bengals. No. Packers at the Lions. Definitely not. Broncos at the Panthers. No. Jets at the Seahawks. Now again, we've already used up the Seahawks, but that could be a definite pick there. So we might wind up jumping back to see what else have we got. So, going through the rest of them. Colts at the Raiders, no. Redskins at the 49ers. We've already got the 49ers. Saints and the Eagles, nowhere to go there. We wouldn't go Falcons over the... we wouldn't go Chargers over the Falcons anyway, most likely. That's just an ugly game. A lot of points, though, probably in that one. Steelers at the Bills. I would like the Steelers, but it's at the Bills, so that's tough. So this is a tricky one. Let's take a look. Now, we picked the Seahawks in Week 11. Okay, we picked the Seahawks in Week 11. Let's jump back to Week 11 and see what other options we had. Right, we took the Seahawks on a Thursday night game. Now, we could. What other options do we have here? Let's see. We have the Redskins at the Bengals. Right, that's one that we talked about here, that this could be a possibility of. I'm not going to take the Redskins in many sportsbook bets. I can tell you that. But this is an opportunity here where maybe the Redskins over the Bengals. Redskins at home. They're probably going to be favored in that game, or at least if they're underdogs at home, it's going to be very slight. Again, depending upon what happens. Was there anything else in this one? Don't like the Steelers, Jags. Lions at Panthers, no. We already did the Buccaneers. You don't want to go down too big of a rabbit hole. Chiefs and Vikings and Cowboys, Chargers and Broncos. So we're going to make the change up here now. Based on what we're looking at here, we're going to make the move and bring the Redskins into this week and move the Seahawks down to week 14. Got the Seahawks. I mean, the Redskins aren't a great team, but they're not. They're not going to go winless this year. They're not that bad. They're not that bad. So we go with the Redskins. On week 11, we make our change. Again, this is a perfect example as to why to do this early, because we would have been in a very tough pick in week 14, and now we have a very comfortable week 14 pick. And it's probably a better pick for the Seahawks than what we had in week 11, because that's a Thursday night game. You never know exactly what can happen there. The Redskins at home, they're going to be at the very least competitive in that game, and then we wind up taking the Seahawks here in week 14 at home against the Jets on a regular Sunday game. That's a great trade-off, I think. It's a great trade-off. Moving over to week 15. Chargers are at the Raiders. Don't like it. Jaguars are at the Ravens. Not a huge fan of that game either. Bears are at the Vikings. It's a divisional game, so it could be tough. Remind me, if we used up the Vikings, we have. Okay, so we're done with the Vikings. We can't go there anyway. And I would not be taking the Bears on the road anyway. Buccaneers at the Falcons. Nothing we can do there. Patriots at the Dolphins. We've already used up the Patriots. Seahawks at the Redskins. We've already used up the Seahawks. Browns are at the Giants. Again, not going to take the Giants in many situations, but this could be one of them. The Eagles are at the Cardinals. Don't like that. Chiefs are the Saints. Don't like that. The 49ers are at the Cowboys, and the Steelers are at the Bengals. So we haven't used up the Steelers yet. This is their second shot at the Bengals. I'm going to use up the Steelers in this situation. It's a road team. You've probably noticed we haven't taken a lot of road teams. But if the Bengals are as bad as I think they're going to be, and the Steelers are even moderately healthy, they'll be in that game. They might be favored on the road. And then there's a few games here that aren't scheduled yet. I'm assuming they're still working out scheduling and venues and such with the virus. The ones that are not yet scheduled are the Lions at the Titans, the Panthers at the Packers, Texans. So nothing that would really jump into our consideration anyway. Let's see what week 16 holds. Week 16, you got the Vikings going to the Saints. You got the Panthers going to the Redskins. You got the Bengals going to Houston. We haven't taken Houston anywhere. I don't think Houston's going to be as good a team as they were last year. And like I said, they weren't great last year. But this is, but again, 8-8, 9-7 usually is in the running in that division. So this could be important to Houston and maybe not important to the Bengals. So Texans are a strong possible pick right here. We've can't do anything with the Steelers and Colts. Bears are at the Jaguars. Don't like it. Giants are at the Ravens. And we have not used up the Ravens yet, right? No, we have not. That's what we're probably going to do here. Giants at the Ravens. Odds are that game's not going to mean a lot to the Giants. probably will for the Ravens. Um, both right now, Texans and Ravens are the two teams that I'm looking at. I don't expect the Ravens to have anything sealed up by this time. I don't expect the Texans to have anything sealed up at that time. They're still going to have reasons to play. So those two are pretty popular. Falcons at the Chiefs. Already used up. Rams at the Seahawks. Already used up the Seahawks. Eagles and Cowboys used up. Titans and Packers. Wouldn't take the Titans anyway, and Packers are tied up. Bills at the Patriots. Already used up the Patriots. Games that are not yet scheduled are the Browns and the Jets. Could, might be able to convince me to look at the Jets, depending upon how the season has gone for the Browns at that point. 49ers and Cardinals. No. Wouldn't take the Cardinals. Already used up the 49ers. Broncos and Chargers. No. Dolphins. No. And Bucks and Lions. No. So, scrolling back here, it's either the Ravens or the Texans. I think the Ravens are a better team overall, regardless. They're definitely a better team overall, as it stands right now. Them playing at home against the Giants, that's going to be our pick for Week 16. Now, if you're not lucky enough to have won by this point, because somebody else is still with you, you're coming down to Week 17, and this can be a crapshoot, because so much of this last week can depend on who's already wrapped stuff up, who is still in playoff contention, and all that. So we'll make our best pick here, but almost certainly this is going to come into play. And that's something else that we'll look at as we go through week by week when the NFL season starts. We'll start to look ahead a little bit at that. We'll start to say, hey, I've got, theoretically, let's say, hey, I've got the Packers lined up on my 17th week pick. It's week 15 right now, and the Packers just locked up. They're, or they're about to lock up, or if they win, they're going to lock up. Maybe do you bounce the Packers up to your 15th pick? Does it make something better for you on week 17 with the assumption that the Packers are going to be resting a lot of players? So that's things that will change as we go there. But let's take a look on just as it is now. I assume everybody's in the race, and the Falcons are at the Buccaneers. We're all used up there. Cowboys at the Giants. Already used up the Cowboys. Would not take the Giants anyway. Titans are at the Texans. Don't like it. Low scoring game. Don't like it. That's probably going to be to decide a playoff spot. Or maybe not. Vikings to the Lions. Don't like that. Jets to the Patriots. Don't like that. Already used up the Steelers and the Browns, actually. The Dolphins are at the Bills. I could probably lean towards the Bills on this one, based on what I think, the way I think they're going to go. It's a divisional matchup. Assuming the Patriots aren't going to be as dominant as they were, some team is going to step up. It could be the Bills. So I might wind up putting the Bills in there. The 49ers are at the Saints are at the Panthers. The Redskins are at the Eagles. Jaguars are at the Colts. Do we have do we have any you can see, yeah. Even going through it this way, going through the 16, we do not have any remaining big time teams, as to just pop in here at this point. The Raiders are at the Broncos. So really, looking over this here, I would like the Bills. If everything was equal, if we could pick anybody we wanted, then sure, we would definitely be looking at the Cowboys over the Giants. I'd like that game better. We'd be looking at the Patriots over the Jets 100%. We could do a quick. Let's just for the heck of it, let's take a look at what week did we pick the Patriots in. We picked the Patriots in week 12. If we jump back to week 12, was there anything else that we liked? That's week 12. If there's nothing else here that we really like, oh, that was Thanksgiving week. Okay. Yeah. We right. We considered the Bengals over the Giants here. Yeah, no, the Bills are at home against the Chargers. I like the last game better for the Bills. The Browns were at the Jaguars. So we are considering the Jaguars here. So what do I like better? Do I like the Jaguars on Thanksgiving week at home playing the Browns? Or do I like the Bills at the end of the season at home playing the Dolphins? Tough. It's a tough call. Cardinals at the Patriots, Panthers at the Vikings, Saints at the Broncos. Yeah, we wound up taking the Patriots at home against the Cardinals. So, again, I don't think that the Patriots are going to be in a situation where they are resting. They're not going to have things necessarily wrapped up. So I'm not worried about switching the Patriots to the last position. The real question is, could the Jaguars beat the Browns at home? The Jaguars aren't going to be great. But they always have a strong defense. They're playing at home. We might find out how the Browns are either gelling or rotting at this point. But the Bills over the Dolphins. I think I'm going to stick with what we have right here, because I think that I think the Bills are definitely going to have a reason to play at the end. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the Bills and throw them here into the last spot. And there you have it. There's the 17 weeks, my 17-week NFL Survivor preliminary picks. I'll probably make a note to check this with you here every once a month as we progress closer. If there's been any major changes in any of the teams' rosters or injuries, that sort of thing, and then once we get the season rolling, we'll follow up on that on a regular once a week basis. So I think that's pretty much everything that we have going on there. We can touch base real quick. Let me just jump over to the MMA real quick, because that's underway now. Let's see how that's rolling. So looking at that right now, and yeah. So one of our fighters has won. Okay, yep. It was a second round knockout. Right. If you remember last night, I was talking about this, and I had hopes that maybe we'd get a first round knockout there, but took it to the second round. Looks like he had a couple of knockdowns and 37 significant strikes. Round one in the second round, so that's pretty good. 51% had him too. Now that's keeping it. Right now we're ranked. We've only had one guy. Most of the people in front of us are. I'm okay with this. Like right now, looking at me in the jump to money. I'm at 111.50. The bracket for money. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it starts at 294. So, but the people that are in at 294 only have 3 fighters remaining. They've already used up half their fighters. Um, Whereas we have 5 of our fighters still remaining. Um, so that's good. And we'll just have to check in tomorrow, see how this wound up running. And I think that's everything for now, folks. I will finish up my NASCAR and Korean picks on my own here. We'll recap those tomorrow as well. And then tomorrow we can recap how the NASCAR race goes and look ahead to more Korean baseball and see what else. Anybody else that has any thoughts, or if they want to see a specific or have questions about a specific bet, let me know. You can hit me up here, hit me up on Twitter, check me out on Facebook. Check me out on YouTube, and that's everything, folks. So take care, have a great weekend, stay safe out there, and good luck. Bye bye.